Hi and welcome to the studios of Tell Your Story Media. We're about to get into another episode of the Haines Hunter Show with John Haber and me, Pat Panetta. We'd love for you to like our video and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Haines Hunter Australia. Thanks for watching. Here comes the show. Welcome back to the Haines Hunter Show. I'm Pat Panetta from Tell Your Story Media. John Haber is here too, the Managing Director of Haines Hunter. Thanks to the Haines Hunter community, John, who've engaged this program. We've had some great success with people watching and listening and lots of questions. So we're back for more. John Haber, we're back for more from Haines Hunter Boats. Good to have you back, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. I mean, look, it's certainly been an interesting concept, but we're getting really good feedback from a lot of customers. There's been quite a few people that have obviously jumped onto the podcast and had a bit of a listen.
Yes. I had to talk you into it at the beginning, didn't I, in a way, because we did one episode and then you went to a boat show and people spoke about it. So it's an environment I'm used to being in the studio, but you said to me off air that you're slowly getting used to it, being here.
I think it's one of those things, you know, you're sort of busy doing your own work, and this is certainly different from what I'm used to doing. Yeah,
it's the modern world though. We've got to get out there and do this, which we're enjoying. So saying that, so I think we'll start off with answering some questions that came through from the last episode. So up to episode 3, composite materials and boats. Why doesn't Haines Hunter use composite materials right throughout the entire boat? So we'll just get into some questions first and we'll talk about some other stuff.
Yeah.
So tell me.
Look, really good question. And you know, from our point of view, with the research and development department that we have, which has been, you know, functioning for, you know, over 25 years at Haines Hunter, we do get access to a lot of different materials coming through, and composite, different types of composite items from our suppliers. What we found, some of those materials are really good, and we do use them. We've used Divinacell, we've used Thermalite. We still use those two particular products, you know, core mats and you know, obviously fiberglass as a composite. But what we've also found, you know, when we're actually building certain products, we feel that some of those materials perform better in certain applications. So we use a combination of all different composites. I mean, we make our own stringer systems as well, which are full composite, you know, made out of solid fiberglass. We do use Thermalite. We do use Divinacell in the side of the boats as a sound deadener. But we also choose to use marine ply, right, which is fully encapsulated. And again, it's the reason why we don't use certain composites, because we don't feel that it works as good as other materials that we can be using, which enhance the not only the boat's performance, but also the construction integrity of the vessel.
Right. So you're building for performance. You're thinking about being out in the water when, you know, it's not just a flat ocean. So there's more that you're sort of thinking about different parts for the different part of the boat. You mentioned the wood as well, and we spoke about this last time. That it can be used because it's required in some parts of the boat. So you're not thinking about just marketing or looking good. What about the performance? So you're really thinking about each part of the boat.
Yeah, I think people, you know, formulate their own opinions. And, you know, we've had many customers who, ironically, have never used any of the composite materials, but they're sold, you know, this concept that, you know, oh, there's no wood, there's no rot. But also, you know, we could say, well, if there's no aluminium, there's no corrosion, and if there's no steel, there's no rust. You know, bottom line is, you know, everything has a lifetime or a lifespan. Everything has, you know, an ability to last longer if it's maintained, and I think that's the key element here. You know, if you maintain your boat properly, it will last a lot longer. It's no different from your car or anything else you buy. We choose at Haines Hunter to give those customers the option. I mean, we still have those customers that have been sold the idea that a full composite boat is the best way to go. And at Haines Hunter, we do offer, if there's a customer that wants full composite or they want a transom composite that has got wood in it or not wood or Divinacell or whatever it might be, we'll sit down with the customer and we'll accommodate that.
Okay, well that's a nice, the flexibility of Haines Hunter boats where you can sort of build to what you want. So that's construction, which you mentioned, outboard selection, electronics. You can basically hand pick this stuff for your boat and off you go.
Look, I'll talk as of today. I could see that many manufacturers are setting up, concrete relationships with maybe certain outboard brands or certain electronics brands. We at the factory choose easy tow trailers for a reason. We've tried and tested those trailers. We feel that's what I would have in my own package. The beauty is with Easy Tow, we've actually sat down with them over a number of years and developed trailers that actually are formulated and set for Haines Hunters. They're not part of their common range. But there are other trailers that also do a good job. We just choose, if you choose a factory option, it's Easy Tow.
Gotcha.
But we do have the flexibility if someone, requires from another dealer to have, a different trailer, or they've made a trailer. That's up to them. But our boats, we feel, are better suited with Easy Tow trailers. But we also want to have the flexibility, and it's not where I'm trying to contradict myself here. Right now, we have people and many customers who have got their own idea which is the best outboard brand for their use. So we have a number of dealers around the country that can cater different brands of outboards. Some choose Yamaha, some choose Mercury, Suzuki, in particular. And we will give them that flexibility. We also have people who have got their own, perception or idea on what is the best suited electronics for their needs. So we do give that flexibility within the factory that we will accommodate the customer with whatever they feel is best suited for them.
Can I ask you about, now we're talking about, this is the guts of this episode, or part of this episode, about answering questions and what came back online. Yeah. So there's positive comments and there's also negative, or the trolling, which as a leader, Haines Hunter Boats, it's a passionate industry that you're in. People are thinking about, their own experience, their own boat, or for whatever reason they're commenting in a certain way. Yeah. So let's talk about that while we're here, those sorts of comments and your thoughts on what you want to say to those who do that, and maybe invite them to come along and check it out for themselves. Yeah,
look, it's you're always going to get that. I mean, every brand has these issues. I mean, we're certainly not isolated, at Haines Hunter or Southern Formula or anything that we do, or in any other businesses that I run, and also other businesses that I help in, part of the other things that I do. The social media, I think most people who jump on social media platforms are conditioned to distinguish between someone who's just a troll and providing negative comments or trying to start a negative thread. What I say to those people is, that's fine. Most people can see through it. The ones that are not sure whether they can see through it or not, I mean, from a Haines Hunter point of view, everyone has the option to make an appointment and come and have a look at our facility. We're very proud about our facility. We have always surprised many people when they've walked through the factory, and most people will say, I can't believe how good the operation is and how smooth it looks, how clean it is, with compared to others that are building the same sort of product. I mean, we are proud, and I'm proud of what we've got. And if anyone's got any doubts, there's always an invitation to come over to the factory and have a look for yourself.
Yeah. We're thinking about doing an episode from the factory too, where we go through the whole process as well. Yeah. Look, it's, as I say, it's passionate. People, care about this industry. It's about a lifestyle, isn't it? It's about a lifestyle, and people attach to certain thoughts and ways of thinking. So there's that, but also, I guess, is there some scurrilous? There might be some other people who just sort of set up fake accounts and do that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely, you'll always get that. I mean, the brand has been around for over 65 years. I've been at the helm of Haines Hunter for over 25 years. and we're still going strong. We, definitely a good option for people. I feel we've got a great product, and I think I've mentioned this before. We do have people who, go out of their way to try and diminish a product before they even know anything about it. And it's not only in Haines Hunters, but also in the auto industry. But we're still here, Pat. 65 years strong. We, have a good business. People are still buying our product. There's a lot of confidence, and regardless of what anyone wants to say, we're a 65 year strong company. We've got an amazing dealer network, and we've got, thousands of customers out there with Haines Hunters, and that tells the real story.
Yep. And in saying that, we do love the engagement, the questions, the people that they get me on Messenger and you as well, and we're really enjoying this process, whether it be on social media and also podcast platforms as well, wherever you can find this episode of the Haines Hunter Show. Now, the ultimate rigging of boats. So we're talking about, this sounds pretty cool. Offshore boating, performance and innovation. Okay, so you're going out in the water, you're offshore boating, the ultimate setup when you do that, and what we need to know, John.
Yeah, look, very good question. With our brand, if you look at the model range that we have, we're one of the brands, very few brands, that I think cater many different demographics. Primarily we're definitely strong in the fishing sector, and we've got customers out there who who've rigged their boats. You've got people like Tom and Chloe Lawrence, who do hundreds and hundreds of hours fishing for marlin, tuna on the east coast of Australia. And just another one to mention, guys like Bob McPherson. He's in a 650R Limited from 2010. He's covered more than 25,000 nautical miles in his 650. Wow. Which is amazing. And they all have their unique setups with their own unique ideas on how to set a boat up. The beauty for us is we set the foundation of where we believe we need to be strong in, and that is in the ride quality, the comfort, and also the safety of the vessel, which are key elements. I mean, safety plays a big part. Again, we are proud of the fact that we feel that we also feel that we build a boat that will take you out, you can enjoy the day and bring you home safely. And we've been doing that for 65 years. And that's the real guts of it. The other thing that we feel when you're rigging a boat, rigging it correctly so it performs well and functions well is also important. So things like, we find that between, say, a Queensland customer to a southern customer down in, Melbourne, Victoria, Tasmania, they all have different needs.
Conditions and that stuff.
So we see a lot of different setups. We're very familiar with them because we do engage strongly with the customer in regards to what they would like. I mean, we've also got boats out there that have got crate pot pullers on the side of them, and you wouldn't probably see that in Queensland, but you'll see it in places like South Australia and also Tasmania. And we do have the ability to cater those different needs. You'll see boats that are set up primarily and solely set up for game fishing. And if I took an example of, say, whether it's a 600R or a 650R or a 675 or a 700 series. Right. It all depends on where the customer feels they're going to use the boat the most. And we have that ability within our brand to set up the boat to be a great family day boat and then be converted to a serious offshore fishing boat just in the accessory level and how we can set them up. So the beauty with the Haines Hunter is it just doesn't cater one specific market. It's a great boat for going out there and doing your game fishing, if you're a diver, it can be set up really well for diving. You know, we've got the right size door, the way the door works. It doesn't get in the way. You can pull it out and put it away and choose not to take it with you. Some have got swinging doors that people feel they're a lot better in looks and functionality.
This detail all matters. I know from setting up my own little studio space, it's somebody who knows it already. As you say, the swinging door, will it be here? You know, what's comfort? All the stuff that you've learnt over the journey. You know what I mean? It's not something that you'll make the choice and then think, oh, I've put it in the wrong spot or I've made a mistake.
Yeah, correct. I mean, look, I'll give you a bit of an example with the swinging door since we've sort of brought that up. I mean, we have a range of product that's got a swinging door, and we've got, for example, most of our series in the Haines Hunter range, we have a pull-out door and you can get an insert put in, which is lighter, much easier to use. There's different and mixed opinion on that. You know, the swinging door is a great idea because it swings and it can lock in place, but it also gets in the way when you're trying to gaff a big fish. They also, in some instances, they could be a bit difficult to stop from leaking. The pull-out door also has its advantages that you can pull it out and put it away and put an insert in if you like, or you can opt just to have the actual door slip back in, but you could put it away. So everyone's got an opinion. We just try and make sure that we cater what we feel is the right choice to start with, and if people want a different alternative, we would look at it.
You're watching the Haines Hunter Show with me, Pat Panetta and John Haber, and we'd love your support. So if you want to see more content like this from Haines Hunter, please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Haines Hunter Australia. Back to the show. Now, you've answered this in part. We spoke about the pros when you mentioned Tom and Chloe Lawrence, Bob McPherson. They're out there, you know, fishing for the big fish and enjoying all that, the offshore experience. And you mentioned this, if you're a diver, if you're an amateur boatie as well, so you can guide those people too. So we've spoken about the pros, but you also touched on that, but just want to make that point as well, that if you're just starting out or if you want to introduce yourself to the boating lifestyle, there's that as well. Come to you and we can start you from that point as opposed to someone who's doing the big sort of fishing in the open ocean.
Look, I mean, we've just developed a new 600 series. Our 620 Patriot, which is a great boat. We're really proud of this boat, and it was, you know, it was the basis off a 585, which is so popular, and we know that it's an amazing performer. But the basis of that 600 series started from there, so we know that the ride quality is good. But you know, you talk about different boats and different applications. We know that, for example, in Queensland, in particular, you know, the accommodation and doing island hopping is important to them. So in that series, rather than having just a centre console, we've made it a walk-around cabin or walk-around centre console, which gives you the accommodation for an overnight application and also greater storage. So that new 620 Patriot is a real difference for people who want to go out, especially in Queensland. You know, they still want to be able to cast all their poppers, you know, use an electric motor on the front, but also do an overnight accommodation. That boat will cater that market. But also in the 600 series, we've developed an R series, which still has a cabin, but hasn't got the walk-around facility because some customer doesn't feel that walk-around is really a bonus to them. But they want to use it as a sports boat and a fishing boat and a dive boat and a family boat, and that might be better suited. So we do look at the best way to close the gap in different models, and how we can cater the best for our customers.
It's exciting when I hear you say that, talking about, you know, island hopping and the different models. So I guess you go into a showroom and you can test the boat, can't you? You can organise all that where you go and test it or experience it somehow, speak to you or somebody at Haines Hunter or one of your dealer partners and start the process and start thinking about what you want to do.
Yeah, look, Pat, it's interesting running the Haines Hunter business. When you look at the brand and what it stands for and how long it's been around, Regardless of its owners, I feel that my job is to make sure that the brand continues to be strong. We're catering and looking after those customers that have our boats and aspire to owning the new models. And part of the integral part of our business is we're actually set up to have a dealer network. Some companies have chosen to go direct, and whilst that has some advantages, it also has quite a few disadvantages. We choose to go through the dealer network and have a strategic dealer network set up around Australia. We've got Aqua Sports Marine in WA who have taken on Haines Hunter. They're doing a great job for us. They have the ability in WA to speak to a customer and look after a customer, but also have a display of product that a customer can walk in and sit down and work out exactly what is the best combination for them. We've also set up, on the Gold Coast, Destiny Marine. We had a bit of a hole there. We haven't had a dealer looking after that area, but Destiny Marine have come on board. They'll have a full lineup of Haines Hunter product.
Yes.
And again, they'll be trained. All their staff are doing the Haines Hunter training, but they're trained not only to sit down with the customer and get as close as possible to what they feel is the right boat for them, but also to look after their product, service their product, and also allow them to have a place where they've got a connection with the brand through our dealer. We've also, in New South Wales, we've got a northern dealer in Mac Marine, who have got a good lineup of Haines Hunter product. Again, the customer can walk in and, talk to those guys. And, we've got Derek at Good Times Marine catering the southern part of New South Wales. Yep. So we've strategically put these dealers in place. These are, new, not so much newly appointed dealers, but dealers who can look after our customers. And it's a bit like the same setup as a Toyota dealership. They've got strategic dealers in different places that, if there's a service needed or something needed, a part required, or they need some advice, or they want to make a change on their boat, they want to fit it up with different electronics, we've strategically placed our dealers so they can cater for Haines Hunter customers accordingly.
The more we meet, John, I'm thinking as I listen to you there, I'm sort of, working out, or it's becoming evident to me, the secret of your success, or why, you run other businesses, but I can just see the passion, you get what it's all about, you care about the dealer network and the marketing and the experience, so you get the relationship with the customer and all that sort of stuff. So for those we spoke about last time, you had a boat, you enjoy fishing, and then you progress to buying the company Haines Hunter. So it's your thing, you're running some other businesses, but this is your passion, boating, or you've just learnt along the way, or I don't know, you're just sort of a quick learner, or you've been doing it for 25 years, but it's your thing and you get it.
Look, the marine industry, it's always been a passion of mine, and fishing's been a great pastime. And again, we've got the slogan, creating long-lasting memories. And it's those memories that become priceless. I've had some great times with, meeting my wife through fishing, and we used to go fishing together, and we still talk about the days, and and as you get older, you take your dad out, and your family out, yeah. And then you end up, you get married and you've got your own family, and I can sit around the table and our kids, I've got 4 girls, as you know, yeah. And now they've got partners, and some of the best times that we have are actually on a boat. So I think for me, the boating lifestyle is an investment into life, and there's nothing more rewarding than when you are sitting around a table where it might be someone's birthday, or it could be Christmas or Easter, and the conversation comes up and they start talking about the great times and the big fish they got, or the diving success that we had, getting good crayfish or whatever it might be.
We'd love to get some feedback on that too. People who can comment or send a message through about their boating experience.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that there's many stories. Again, I'm fortunate enough to hear a lot of those stories. Yeah. And they're stories that I envy. And we've just had one of our really good customers, Bill. He's in the Poseidon Fishing Club, and he went up to Portland, Apollo Bay. Right. A couple of weeks ago, and he got a nice big tuna, and he's still talking about it.
Yeah, it's getting bigger every time, isn't it? He talks about that.
No, he's actually a pretty straight shooter, but I know what you mean.
Now we've mentioned WA, which I love the idea of boating in WA, the Gold Coast, Queensland. The Sydney Boat Show, you're off to Queensland soon. I think you're going to jump on a plane as soon as you finish this recording.
Yeah.
Okay, R&D, so research and development. You're always looking at that and improving. But the Sydney Boat Show is coming up. You can tell us about?
Yeah, so Sydney Boat Show is coming up in August. We've got a really good display of Haines Hunter product destined to be on display. We've got 2 good quality dealers that are going to represent the product. I'll certainly be there with my team. Answering any questions and meeting, existing and also new customers. Yeah. We've got, the new 600 series, which will be on display, which is awesome. And as far as the R&D, moving forward, we've got some exciting things happening with, a new 700 series, which is, well on the way. Yeah. There's been some good modifications, some really good improvements on our 700 series, which customers will enjoy.
New deck layouts, upgrade upholstery, so it's going to be a completely sort of new look.
There's a lot of things happening in the background, and we're really excited about finishing off this chapter and then starting off our new one, which we'll talk about in one of the podcasts moving forward.
Okay. Now, buyers' tips. We mentioned this last week that we're going to give some tips. Look, we're sort of freewheeling a bit here, which is good. We've probably covered some tips as we go. But for 2025, a few tips, not looking just at price, of course, that's part of what you think about, but it's more than just the price and what you should think of when you go to buy a boat.
Yeah, look, price is an interesting thing. I feel with the way that we run our factory and the dedication towards lean manufacturing practices, and I think we do excel in this area. I mean, it's my background. We've also got trained people on the floor that excel in this area, and I feel that we could deliver a high quality product and a great product that everybody knows what a Haines Hunter performs like in the water. I mean, you've got, whether they're new or old Haines Hunters, have always served their purpose. Certainly the new Haines Hunter boats, I feel not only confident to say to you that we know that they perform a lot better than the older ones, taking nothing away from the older ones, but we've made significant improvements in hull design to be more economical, to take 4-stroke outboards efficiently, but they're more stable, they're softer, they're quieter, they're a much heavier build than the older ones. Right. They're a better quality build than the older ones, but again, that's progression. Buying tips, if I had to listen to some of the mentors that I've worked with, when in doubt, buy a brand that is solid, and invest in a brand that's got the highest resale value, because that's what your investment's about.
Okay.
The other thing is, you buy a boat that it's going to cater your needs specifically, but also look at a boat that has what makes it have the highest resale value. I mean, aesthetically, I think Haines Hunters look modern. They're made out of fiberglass, and I think it certainly appeals to a lot of people. They do look better, so the investment that you put into it looks like it's a worthy investment. Durability. There's a perception that aluminium boats are more durable, but all I can say to you, there's plenty of 50 and 60-year-old Haines Hunters still servicing their customers, or being able to be refurbished and last another 50 or 60 years. And as far as Australia's concerned, I know there's a lot of people that move backwards and forwards between fiberglass and aluminium, but we are seeing a lot of people come back to fiberglass just for the sheer aesthetic look and for the ride quality and the softness and the ability to modify a product a lot easier. Durability, again, I'd probably have to say that looked after, it will outlast just about anything. And I think when you're looking at making the investment, this is a not a great comment, but I get it. Yeah. Someone said to me, "The poor man pays twice."
Yes, yes, that's
and
right.
You've probably heard that comment before.
Yeah. You spend all your time trying to save money, and then you get more problems in the end, don't you?
Yeah, and I think from a point of view that if you had to really dig down and see what you get in a Haines Hunter, I think we're one of the most cost-efficient boats to buy, even though the price might be perceived greater than maybe second-tier or third-tier boat brands. But in the long run, I think the investment is worth it. I mean, I've had that experience myself where, I bought a Haines Hunter, moved away from a Haines Hunter, bought a different brand, and I won't mention the brand, and it didn't take me long to work out that I needed to go back to the Haines Hunter brand.
All right, John, it's always a pleasure having you in. So whether you're chasing tuna, cruising with the family, or doing both, Haines Hunter boats, they deliver, as you say, built to last. We're going to come back. We're going to have some special guests on as well, and maybe go through the factory. Just some more plans for an episode as often as we can, getting out there and talking to our viewers and customers and the Haines Hunter community.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. And look, just to finish off, I want to say thanks to all those Haines Hunter customers. Like I said, there's thousands of them, and also those people that are new and coming on board and visiting our dealers, getting a quote. Certainly, if you've got any doubts, you can ask the questions. Our factory is always open for an inspection if people want to have a look at how we build a boat. And we certainly have got nothing to hide and everything to show. Yes. And I'm fairly confident that if you came through the factory and you had any doubts or had any questions or had any trolls on there trying to create a negative thought, I'm sure that walking through our factory with one of our team members will...
It's very cool.
Yeah, answer all those questions.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for watching the Haines Hunter Show. We'll be back soon. Thank you for your time, and thanks to Managing Director of Haines Hunter, John Haber. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
Good on you, mate, and we'll see you back here next time. Thank you. There you are, another episode of the Haines Hunter Show with John Haber and me, Pat Panetta. Thanks for viewing, and remember to like our video, and we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Haines Hunter Australia. Thanks again, and from the whole team here at Haines Hunter, have a great day. Thank you.